Do you know how a big part of this film was paid for?
No, go on.
Sponsors. So throughout the movie, Jack is constantly holding like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol with the label sticking out to the camera. The big B plot in the movie is him trying to get Al Pacino for a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And there's literally a scene set on a cruise where a man says to camera, "Welcome to Royal Caribbean Cruises."
Oh my god, there's no way.
So, we obviously can't include them, so our budget is very small for this movie.
If you have a lot of heartburn, it's a sign of a heart condition. So we could actually have him have the Pepto-Bismol, but it'd have like a canonical reason. Okay. So, we can renew that contract.
Welcome to Losing the Plot, the show where we try and come up with the plot of a TV show or a movie in a writer's room style conversation, and then we slowly lose our minds over the course of the video. I am joined, as always, by Rich.
Hello.
The movie Jack and Jill has been picked up by the studio, but the script was so bad that it's been thrown out, and we've got to start from scratch. The thing is, we've got to stick to a few things. It needs to be the same basic premise. Sandler still has to play both roles.
Okay.
And we've got to guarantee him an Oscar.
Is that what the agent put in the clause?
Yep. Well, I really like the idea of him going, "No, throw that Jack and Jill movie out." But not all of it.
Not all of it. The conceit is there. That's that's all we needed.
Now, immediately what we need to say is, I've seen this movie. You're lucky enough to have not seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout this, I'm going to be telling you some like important plot points, if you can call them that.
And I am keeping my head fresh and uncluttered of Jack and Jill.
You believe me, man, you'll live a better life than me because you're not cursed with this movie.
I reckon people who have watched it probably have like a reduced life expectancy.
Now, here's the thing, man. Have you heard the theory about why Sandler makes bad movies?
No, actually, go on.
Because Chris Farley died, and he wanted to like embrace life with his friends more, so he started starring in really bad movies where he could just hang out with his friends for like 3 months.
I like that thinking though.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet, isn't it, that Farley's death made him closer to everyone else?
Yeah, like, he's like, I've got an amazing opportunity here, I can write film and get paid for it. And that makes sense, what's with his discography now, it's like he just goes to the nicest places.
Yeah.
He's like, and he probably has a group chat and he says like to people, "Right boys, where do you want to go this year?" And like he writes a whole film based on it.
Kevin James replied, "Can I be the president of the United States?"
I could see that.
Weirdly enough, Kevin James wasn't in the original Jack and Jill.
Oh, what?
David Spade was, and he was dressed up as a woman.
So everyone's just cross-dressing hardy in this.
Yeah.
Shakespearean, isn't
it? Yeah. Well, speaking of Shakespeare, you've got the perfect start to this movie. Do you want to talk about it?
Absolutely. So we have a title card, black and white. It's got Oscar Bates always have a little quote, don't they? Yeah. So we'll have it pans, it slowly fades, and it's like, "Jack shall have Jill. Naught shall go ill."
Yeah,
and it's a quote from Midsummer Night's Dream, I think, at the end.
That's such like a heavy quote. Like, immediately,
it's that naught shall go ill. Yeah.
Immediately, people are watching this going, "Oh, this could be interesting."
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the basic plot, and then we'll get into rewriting it. So we've immediately got an issue because there is no plot in this movie.
Oh, God.
It's basically Adam Sandler is a rich, successful man who works in advertising, and he's married to this beautiful woman, of course, like he is in every movie. This time he's married to Katie Holmes. He's got a twin sister who he only sees every Thanksgiving, and she's coming to visit him, and he doesn't like her because she's annoying. That's the entire plot of the film.
So it's like, that's like the most banal. It's like very everyman, the plot, isn't it? Like,
But it's also nothing. Like, it's nothing, Rich.
Yeah, it's a sketch, I think. Like, I'm convinced sometimes he reads his old sketches. He just goes through it and he goes, "I'll turn that into a film." Oh, but yeah, okay. You know what, though? Instantly, with our little title card. So he's penned in by it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Penned in. So maybe that's it. I kept thinking of, like, Gone Girl, but with family.
I like it. I'm on board, yeah.
This family thriller. That's the tagline. You don't choose your family.
There we go. There we go. How are we gonna get past this being a serious movie when it's just Adam Sandler wearing a dress?
Maybe we frame it, like when I think Jordan Peele says the difference between comedy and horror is the music. So, it's, I think, like, as well, that how the characters react to the situation. So, like, maybe there's a big element of, like, he's just, like, looking in the mirror. Like, it opens up with that, when you feel, like...
And the unknown looks back at him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, it's like, the Freudian doppelganger of the uncanniness.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they had this conversation when making that movie?
Yeah, they sat there going, well, the reflection of the other is always the self. Sounds like, this is good stuff, boys. Psychoanalyzing Jack and Jill. But yeah, okay, I think she inserts herself into his life. People start asking Jack. Sorry, I just forget that's the character's name to me, isn't it? They actually called...
Yeah, they're called Jack and Jill, yeah. We need a when you, so we need to establish the character that Adam Sandler's playing. In the movie, he's like rich and successful. Do we strip that all away from him?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make for a good tragic tale. It's like when you watch Curb. At the end of the day, no matter what arguments Larry gets in, he's still a millionaire at the end of the day who goes back to his LA mansion.
Yeah, like, there's a sense of... static. There's the sense of stillness, isn't there? Like, you can't go anywhere. You can just get away with it, basically. So yeah, there's no threat to it. It's just a constant awkwardness. So yeah,
so who's Jack?
So Jack is obviously super poor, and maybe he wants to get rid of her. Basically, I think. Because he's like forced to live with her because he has no money.
Right, yeah.
Maybe she done all the finances when the parents died. So she's like the executive of the estate.
Okay.
So basically she controls every aspect of his life. So he wants to be free of it, is like I would say the one. And the beginning of the journey is he starts doing stuff as him. Like he'll be going around the city, won't he?
Yeah.
And people will go, was that you on the store the other day? You took a shit. He took a shit in the aisle.
Can I just remind you, Oscar? We're going for the Oscar.
Okay, what about that's the beginning of the film? Right, the parents have died,
right,
and he'd been relying on like an inheritance, but sort of messed up. And it turns out that she's like been manipulating the parents for years, and he's not been there. And it's like, oh yeah, everything's been took off you, like you're not getting it. And he's like, what? And then he has to like, yeah. So what if they're sorting out the probate and stuff? Like they're sorting out the death inheritance. So they're in this house, and it's like we're at the parents' house, and he slowly realizes what Jill has done to the parents. Do you know what I mean? Over the course of the story,
yeah.
And it's like some big plot for her to control him, kind of thing. Like maybe the parents were like sick with dementia and she would continually pose as him. You know what I mean?
Oh, wait, hang on. That's really good. Okay. So we start with the news that the parents have died and he's been left with nothing. And then his need is he wants to like figure out what happened. So maybe he's been getting like support packages, from the parents, like certain amounts of allowance, even when he's living alone. And then that stops coming and he's been like gambling to try and get out of the death, and then when he dies suddenly he goes over. Do you know what I mean? So like it could open with him like on the train, he falls asleep, we have that little dream where she's running at him or chasing him, and then he like wakes up on the train and he's like on the way and he's got nothing to his name. You know what I mean? There was a moment in the movie where Jack wakes up and his sister is just like snuggling him, and he turns around and she's just got this huge grin on her face, and it looks like a scene from a horror film.
Yeah, we'll just take that scene out and put it on and put it in this. Save some money for the day.
Yeah. Can we just take a second to talk about Money Rich? Because do you know how a big part of this film was paid for?
No, go on.
Sponsors. So throughout the movie, Jack is constantly holding like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol with the label sticking out to the camera. The big B plot in the movie is him trying to get Al Pacino for a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And there's literally a scene set on a cruise where a man says to camera, "Welcome to Royal Caribbean Cruises."
Oh my god, there's no way.
So, we obviously can't include them, so our budget is very small for this movie.
If you have a lot of heartburn, it's a sign of a heart condition. So, we could actually have him have the Pepto-Bismol, but it'd have like a canonical reason. Okay. So, we can renew that contract.
Right, a love how in this Oscar bait movie, you know when they say nomination for Best Actor, Adam Sandler, and it's just a scene with them drinking Pepto-Bismol label out.
It's as bang on as the Wayne's World ones, where they like purposely lean into it. 'Cause we would never sell out, man. Mechanical.
And then years later, they did the Uber Eats one, and they're like, "Tell them, Cardi B." It's like...
Oh, God.
Oh, and by the way, you know, since we've got Al Pacino signed on for this, is there any way we can still use him, but like give him a proper role rather than playing Al Pacino?
Ooh, maybe he's
Because he can act. He's won Best Actor for Sense of a Woman.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what he'd be good for in that.
So, like, now's the perfect time because Jack has gone to his parents' house after they've passed away, and we'll do like the search for it, and the finder is he's just hanging out with his sister trying to figure out what went wrong and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like investigating her. Maybe Pacino could play like a lawyer or something.
Yeah, he's the executor of the estate.
There we go.
Maybe he'd like a family friend as well. You know, like how sometimes solicitors are like part. People have a solicitor for ages, don't they, in America and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
There's also a scene with Pacino where Jack calls him and he's in the middle of performing like Richard III, like on stage. So it's like Jack and Jill has like a play within a play. It's like...
Yeah, maybe we lead into Hamlet.
Oh
my God.
wait. Did we just have the same thought?
Yeah, that's actually so funny.
That's how he baits the truth out of Jill. So,
oh my God, this matches 1-to-1.
Yeah,
Hamlet. Because what the fuck? When do we have the scene with Alas Poor Yorick? A man of infinite jest. Oh, what? Oh my God, because he's like the sort of mentally ill like he's coming home.
Yeah.
She's Ophelia, but a bit more like a Lady Macbeth crossover. And Polonius is Pacino. Sorry, go on.
But isn't Jill sort of like Claudius as well because she's like orchestrates it all?
That's perfect. Oh my God.
So our way of rewriting Jack and Jill was to just make Hamlet.
I mean, you know, like people do that though, don't like. So Click is actually a French fairy tale, I believe. The Magic Thread or something.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, the Magic Thread. It's an old French folktale that he based it on. So, you know, it's not outside of the... you know, he's done it before. He's, like, looked at old literature.
Can we get Kevin James and, like, James Spade to play, like, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
That's perfect, you know. Ros and Gil. Yeah, and then in the future we have a spin-off that is basically, you know, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, but it's just David Spade and
Sorry, I'm looking at the plot of this movie, man, and it does feel Hamlet all the way through.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You want like, yeah, this is it's honestly, yeah, I can't believe how much we've just been making Hamlet.
Well, they do say that there have been no new stories since Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespeare just don't know.
Because he wrote so many. He just like wrote Conflict, didn't he? And
was it like 40 plays?
Oh,
and also he's the king of tragicomedy.
Yeah.
He's the king of like he's the king of like 1 minute it's utter horror and dread, and then there's someone making a fart joke. And 2 lines later. This is perfect, you know. I've just realised why it's perfect. The doubling. Like, there's a lot of twins in Shakespeare.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
What's going on, man?
We literally started with a Shakespeare quote.
I know, what's going on? Have we just been subconsciously thinking of like 12th Night and stuff? Oh, what the hell? So I think...
I love the idea we've turned Jill from just Adam Sandler playing a woman into the Shakespearean tragedy villain.
Yeah. For Malvolio stuff, like I think she's been going to like places and badmouth acting as him. Is the play within a play that he acts as her?
And, yeah, he has to reverse it by acting like her.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, the movie's got to end in tragedy. We need to get that Oscar.
Yeah, trying to think of how they'd fight. Well, we can't have a little sword fight, can we? Poison.
That's Claudius killed Hamlet with poison in the ear, and then Hamlet killed Claudius with... Go on.
Poison ear. What it like? Bad mouthing people. That's what she's been doing. She's been spreading lies, poisoning ears. That's what this whole film's about.
I can hear Sandler shouting, "You've been poisoning their ears."
Yeah.
Can I just say, Rich, this is really coming together, like, as an idea.
It is now.
I'm just trying to think of a way to make, like, it satisfying.
Yeah, so maybe we need more Pacino. Like, Pacino's like, oh, it's nice to see you again, stuff like that at the beginning. And he's like, I've not been here for like years. And he's like, what? You have?
Yeah.
And then there's more of that, like, there's people chasing him and people after him for money. Because we could have this eerie vibe of when he arrives in the town, no one fucking speaks. Like, no one looks at him.
Oh, yeah. And we can play with, like the uncanny nature of people looking at him and him not understanding why they're looking at him. Yeah, I like it.
That, if it also feels meta-theatrical because we're looking at him. You know, like, there's this...
Yeah.
The sensation of being watched, and he's constantly feeling like he's being watched and analysed.
I want it to be like, you know, like the same vibe when you play in the start of Alan Wake.
Yeah, this moodiness.
And something seems off about the town and you're not sure who to trust.
Yes.
Yes. Like when he goes to that diner in the start of Alan Wake, you've got no idea who to believe or anything.
If we go for that small town vibe, I like, because small towns are innately creepy, I think. I don't know. That's just alienated a large swath of the audience.
No,
because we're city people, aren't we?
I think what it is like, because we're not from a small town, the only experience we have of small towns is going into a stranger's one.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not creepy to them, but it's creepy to outsiders.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, because, and also I think there's this innate quality to cities where you're not known, but if everyone knows you, it feels like everyone can find you.
So we've pretty much done this. But we need to figure out the fight at the end. Like, do they fight with swords?
No, it's got to be like it's got to be a dialogue fight, hasn't it? I reckon. You know, like
the pen is mightier than the swords. They could
see.
aggressively write them each other letters.
I'm trying to think of a situation where the swap could happen. So, what is the little play? When was that little play?
Yeah, we need to iron out that detail.
So I wonder if the little play is like he's trying to show how easy it is that at a very early age, they used to swap places anyway. But then she started doing stuff in his name and he stopped doing it.
Oh, so maybe they could have, like, other family members, like, reunited in the house for, like, the funeral.
Oh, yeah.
And they're talking about how when they was younger, they used to pretend to be each other.
That's actually, yeah, I think that's perfect. So,
and then Sandler comes in, like, the dress and a wig.
Yeah, and she's okay, that's the play, I think. The play is, it's between them two, acting as Jill.
Yeah.
Or maybe, rather, they're both acting as each other at this point, and they're trying to play out their arguments for who is who, and all the family is basically trying to struggle to figure out who to corrupt. Because basically the whole film before this, he's been slowly turning against them, i.e. poisoned ears.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fight, I reckon, is like this dialogue fight of like, maybe they start revealing all the secrets that they've been getting about the other family.
Can we have one of the secrets that they know about the family be because he was like kids and he was hiding, and he was hiding behind the curtain? That was a scene in Hamlet, wasn't it? Wasn't Hamlet hiding behind the curtain or something?
Yeah, like there's loads of that in Hamlet. I think that Polonius is behind the curtain. That's when he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
I think by Claudius, or is it Hamlet? I don't know. Man, I just can't believe we've written Hamlet. I can't wait for this video to watch it, and like halfway through we just realised we're writing Hamlet. It's fucking amazing.
One thing I think that is important is we give Sandler plenty of times to like do his shout acting.
I think that would be the bit at the end when they both start shouting to the point where like they actually just sound the same.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the very end. This is the bloodiness. This is where in the Tarantino film all like heads are popping off, you know what I mean?
But instead of
words,
instead of like the brutal death in the end of Hamlet where everyone ends up dead, 12 of the 14 cast members in Hamlet die. We just have relationships killed.
Shattered, destroyed. And basically like they knew loads of secrets, and they're like the nukes, you know what I mean? Like none of them have used these secrets because it's like if you use them there's no going back. In the end, to prove who they are, they're going, you know me, I was there that time. You broke Uncle Morris's window, and then but then it gets more emotionally affecting. Like, you know, we saw Auntie Nora sleep with cousin Sarah's fella. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's just increasingly getting like
just a bloodbath, but with words. I think that's a really nice way to end it, and it gives Sandler plenty of opportunity to like really go for it twice.
You know what? I'm wondering if we don't have a death, because I think in Oscar bait films there's not a lot of deaths. Is there? Like, people suffer and carry on. There's always more show.
I think it's more punishment if they carry on living. Yeah.
So in the end, I think everyone just leaves and all they have is each other, and it's like it's a bit bittersweet, weird.
It's not bittersweet. It's just miserable. It's like...
Do you reckon? I remember you telling me about Subtech.
Yeah.
But like a good example of like two. A man and a wife, a husband and a wife sit in two chairs. No one said anything, and he goes, "What's on the telly?" Because he doesn't want to talk to her.
Yeah.
He just wants to. I'm wondering if we use that moment, like, you know, like the breathing, the sweaty, and like in each other's clothes, and then you just sit down, like nearly crying. One of them's like, "Do you want to watch something that we used to watch as a kid?" Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's something like this is like a motif that's been reoccurring the whole thing. Like they used to love this show.
Yeah.
Something. And they go, "Should we just put that on?" And say, "Yeah." And film ends.
That's such a quiet end to, like, it's a huge climax followed by a very quiet end. I really like that, Rich.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, we need to see, it's a mini epilogue of seeing what their life's going to be like now. So I think we've done the change. He's returned to the situation. He's literally came home, but he hasn't gotten rid of her. He's just got rid of everyone else.
Well, do you remember I told you about that saying, how there's only 3 types of stories? A man goes on a journey, a stranger comes to town, and Godzilla versus Megashark. This is sort of like the first 2.
It is. A man has come back, and he's also went on a journey, like, to this place.
And
yeah.
I feel like throughout the film we play on, like, gender and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, she's found life easier as a man and stuff in those circumstances. That would make a lot of sense. Like, she used to use it anyway, not to be stereotyped and marginalised. And that's a big thing. You know, going back to Shakespeare, the power of, like, the performative power of clothes and, you know, how you move. There's a lot of Judith Butler in this film, what we're doing. The performativity of sex and of gender, like how you're perceived. At the end, you know, it goes back to the quote, "Jack has Jill, naught shall go ill." And the rest of the quote is, "The man shall have his mare again, and all shall be well."